2026 has already given us a heap of games that don't cost a penny to start playing. Some are doing really well, using microtransactions and seasonal passes to cover development costs, while others have already closed down and are gone forever. RIP Highguard. So every 6 months I look forward at free-to-play video games that are coming soon, and I found 10 that could be your next gaming obsession. I'm Adam, hello there. Please let me know your top 3. Which of these games interest you the most? Have you seen Aniimo, an open-world creature-catching RPG coming in Q3 this year, so that's between July and September. The idea is to smush together the monster-collecting addiction of Pokémon with a world to explore that's more akin to that of Zelda or Genshin Impact, as we discover temples and puzzles by exploring the island, whether that's driving, climbing or gliding. A cool detail lets us twine with our creatures and literally play as them. And like Pokémon and other monster catching games, these critters can be elementally charged, giving different combat abilities, essentially letting us group them into roles like DPS, healers and even tanks, all in a team build. All this is in a shared world with other real life players. We can ignore them if you like, but occasionally we do require cooperative play with others online, as events require teamwork to solve and defeat. Aniimo is coming before the end of summer, with a global closed beta about to begin in June. A game that tried its best to release alongside the World Cup has now been postponed until Q4, so around October time. Freestyle Football 2, a fast-paced 5-on-5 footy game or soccer game, in which we play as just one character. As you can see, it's not simulation in any way at all. A key factor online is that your squad is made out of 5 real-world players, so the quality of your teammates is just as important as your own, and if everyone chooses midfielders and forwards, there's gonna be a big hole in your defense. Since I last saw Freestyle Football 2, they've added a ton of customization choices and new body types, and a new social mechanic where out of football we visit a bar to talk to other characters and hopefully befriend them to unlock them in-game. It looks promising to me. Football Freestyle 2 hopefully arrives around October time. A game I'm incredibly looking forward to is Sea of Remnant, a fantasy role-playing game that is set on the ocean. Think Sea of Thieves blended with Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Combat is real-time ship battles, and that switches into strategic turn-based combat when it's face-to-face. Visually, the world looks really unique, including our own character, who is a puppet made of wood. Yes, we are one of the puppet folk. We build our own fleet and recruit shipmates, and right now there is said to be over 300 to find in the open world. Some will be happy to join you, while others need more convincing and may challenge you to a drink-off or a simple game of mahjong, or a real mission to face off with sirens at the bottom of the sea. Playtesters have told us about a roguelike structure in some places, as failure washes us back up on shore and we can improve our stats to try again, or move on to a different task completely. Oh, and of course our main character has good old amnesia, and each mission brings us one step towards understanding who we really are, and that's the core of the story. Sea of Remnant will be ready to set sail in December. Something coming much sooner than that is the long-awaited console version of Once Human, coming this summer. It can be any day now on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Once Human is a survival shooter game at its core. Set in the future, the world has been destroyed and an alien pollution ravishes the land, causing living creatures to mutate into monsters. We play as a meta-human who is biologically advanced and therefore able to fight back. We loot abandoned towns, learning about the past and facing off with a whole legion of weird and wonderful enemy types. And this can all be done alone, or we're told most enjoyably in a squad of friends. The game is almost 2 years old now, and expansions have filled out the game massively, and most recently a new controller update was pushed out, and right now the final beta test on PS5 and Xbox is taking place, with a final release date looking like July if it all goes well, or August if it needs a little bit more polish. Check out Totopia, a party game that fuses Fall Guys with Animal Crossing with the visual style of Splatoon. We are promised chaotic maps to battle through and a cozy life sim at the same time. Set in this colourful paradise, we can either relax or adventure. If you remember readying up with your friends to play Fall Guys back in the day, it's the similar sort of scenario with over 100 maps and mini games to play and fight through. And all these unlock cosmetic items that we can use back at home. Here at our homestead, it's a life sim that has us meticulously arranging our belongings as well as hitting that collectibles itch we all have, whether that's through fishing or displaying winning trophies or just mementos of what we've done. There's conflicting information on release date, as the November 2026 confirmation we heard earlier in the year is now being reconsidered to make way for GTA 6, which, yeah, it's understandable, isn't it? So we may see Totopia pushed back into March 2027. I'll pin a comment as soon as we get an official answer. A game trying to make a comeback this summer is MechaBreak, or MechaBreak 2.0 as the devs have started calling it. The original MechaBreak launched about a year ago and was an Xbox exclusive, and sadly it kind of failed. The idea was great, a mech-focused team shooter set in 2082, with the typical call modes you see in shooters, deathmatch, control, and also, a little later, an extraction mode. With the Xbox's year of exclusivity about to end any moment, multiple updates are coming alongside the PS5 launch. For example, a new co-op PvE mode with roguelike elements as we climb a challenge tower, something called the Ultimate Ability system has been overhauled, and also the crit rates of all the classes, and that's because yes, this most definitely is a class-based team shooter, and synergy matters between your team. MechaBreak 2.0 is expected to release around July 21st on PS5, Xbox and PC, and a few whispers there may be a Switch 2 version. A game that always seems on the cusp of releasing in the last year is Fate Trigger, the anime battle royale hero shooter. Originally, Fate Trigger was coming before March this year, but the game lacked enough polish and the devs retreated, and the new release date is Q4, so around October through December time. As you can see, as well as it being Gooner friendly, it's I can't say that. It's also got some truly unique abilities, from a character who can literally build high ground to a lady whose lipstick doubles as a proximity sensor. The promise is to continually add more characters, from the realistic to the surreal, from the furries to whatever anime style takes your fancy this month. Traversal will include cars for long journeys, and each character has their own way to change a battle close up, whether that's boosted jumps or dodges or seen through smoke. We're expecting to see more of Fate Trigger at Gamescom in August, and it may be part of PlayStation's China Hero showing this year, again in August, which will hopefully give us a solid release date. And so far only PC and PS5 versions have been confirmed. A little bit of hopium from me now, if you don't mind, as one of my most anticipated free games ever has been underground for over a year now. Unending Dawn. The promise was a challenging melee-focused action game set across a sprawling anime world, filled with brutal bosses and a seriously demanding gameplay style. The blurb says it's a multiplayer open-world action game set in a world ravaged by a catastrophe where survivors struggle against cursed creatures. So effectively, it's anime Dark Souls, the gacha game. Truly unique, and after seeing comprehensive gameplay, things looked to be great, and we're told it was coming soon. But suddenly, following massive investment from Sony, Unending Dawn vanished. We've only heard from creators close to the studio who state the game is still underway and the re-reveal is coming very soon. But how soon? Unending Dawn is another game that's part of the China Hero project with PlayStation, so August is our best chance to get an update on this. A video about free games can't be complete without Path of Exile 2. The isometric ARPG is already out in early access, allowing players to buy their way into the unfinished game and help the developers get to their end goal. Then, the day that process ends is the day PoE 2 becomes a free-to-play game. The only thing we know 100% is that Path of Exile 2 will be fully released in 2026. If you haven't seen it before, it's a dungeon-crawling video game in which we take out hundreds and thousands of enemies. If you've ever played a Diablo game, you know the basic gameplay loop. When first announced, there was 12 playable character classes, each with their own skills and weaponry. The story consists of 7 acts before the real game begins. Endgame, which ramps up difficulty and offers more substantial challenge than ever before, and of course this all leads to even more rare and impressive loot. Free-to-play PoE 2 comes out in 2026, but when exactly, we don't know. If I had to guess, it'll likely be December on PS5, Xbox Series and PC. And finally, the most highly anticipated free-to-play game of 2026 is Ananta, the anime open-world game that combines all the best parts of many games you love, like Spider-Man's web-slinging, like GTA's character swap mechanic, and elements from the heists too. There's Watch Dogs hacking, and there's life sim moments here, from visiting stalls to playing arcade machines. Ananta looks to be amazing, and it looks to be crammed full of content. Since we first looked, Ananta has had a few updates, and it's confirmed it will not be a typical gacha game like its competition. It's confirmed all characters will be unlocked via the story, and it's actually the customization options that will be the gacha model, so that's our outfits and our cars. And not only that, we've had it confirmed that any clothing that we buy for one character will work on them all. I'm not sure if that's gender specific, but regardless of body type, if you buy a jacket for one character, it works on another. In terms of release date, a magazine article said it was planning to release around July 2026 on PC and PS5, with a mobile version later. But since then, there's been many attempts to debunk that date, and supposedly instead July will mark the end of a certain milestone in development, which will bring us to the worldwide testing phase. We've seen Ananta running in the wild at events, and some really impressive long gameplay demos, but nothing official in terms of release date yet. That was until I found a few Chinese outlets that say the expected launch window is planned for Q3 2026, so that's July to September time, but it will be released in China first and then globally later. Take all this with a pinch of salt, no official word has been said, and remember GTA 6 comes out this year, and every game seems to be avoiding that. I wonder why. But for certain, Ananta looks amazing. By the end of it, 2026 will have been packed with genuinely great free-to-play games, and in 2027, there's no sign of that slowing down. We know that Soulframe is slowly creeping towards completion, the game from the devs of Warframe, and we all know how long that free-to-play's been going. League of Legends will revamp their game in 2027, potentially seeing the non-released console version finally see the light of day. Elsewhere, anime-style gacha games remain a real option to gamers, as the Hoyoverse that gave us Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail return with Vasapura. I think I'm saying that right. An open world RPG set in an eerie supernatural city. And then there's Silver Palace, an ARPG set in a Victorian futuristic city. And of course there are vampires and werewolves roaming the streets, hidden in plain sight. Please let me know what your 3 most anticipated free games are, and I'll look into them more deeply. I'm Adam, you're awesome, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.